In this video, I'm going to show you how you're going to pitch a tent in strong winds. So the first thing you need to figure out is where you're going to pitch your tent. For demonstration purpose, I'm going to find the most exposed place to pitch the tent, but usually you want to find a place that is more sheltered from the wind. And second up, you need to find a place where you can secure your tent to the ground. And this place looks kind of good. Let's get into it. So now I have found the proper place to pitch the tent. I start with sitting with the back towards the wind, and I'm going to pitch the tent in this direction. So ahead of this trip, I prepared a sling that I attached to the first attachment point on this tent. And for this model, the first attachment point is marked with a yellow loop. So I'm going to take the carabiner and hook it onto my backpack, so when I take the tent out of the bag, it won't blow away. Now that the tent is secured, I can safely take out the tent fabric, and at the same time I'm also going to take out the tent poles and the pegs. So that's everything I need right now. When the tent is out of the bag, you take the bag and put it inside your pocket so that it's safely stored. And I also close the zipper. And my backpack will also break the wind so that the tent will lie more still on the ground compared to if I didn't have the backpack. So the first point is secured. Now we take the second point. So the rest of the attachment points are marked with or color coded with black loops. So at this point, now I know that the tent is safely secured to the ground. Next up is putting in the tent poles. So I just stay at the same spot with the wind in my back. Here I feel comfortable and quite sheltered. Attach all of the segments, make sure that you don't have any gap between any of the links. So I'm going to insert both of the poles halfway, and then we're going to tighten it up and create the bend. Take the next pole as well, and as always you take the bag, put it inside your jacket and close the zipper. So now I always know where I keep the bag for the tent and the bag for the poles. I'm starting with the pole that goes to the front of the tent. Insert it into the sleeve. Take it all the way so that I can feel that it's being entered into the cup. Then I move on to the next pole. Same here. Insert it all the way until it's safely in the cup. Now we're going to build the structure. And I'm going to take the end of the pole and keep it towards my stomach. Then start tensioning. So now it's sitting on my hips or in my belly. Now I can tighten it up and put it in the cup. Just check the pegs. Everything looks good. And if you want, you can start here and attaching this one as well, but right now it's not as windy, so I feel comfortable inserting the next pole before I start tightening up the fabric. Both of the poles are in. Now I'm going to go to the rear end and insert 3 pegs before I start staking out the guy lines. put in this one, tighten the fabric. Now make sure that all of the loops that goes from the peg to the tent is loosened so that I can tighten it later on. The base structure is all good. Now we go to the front end again. And from this view we can see that we have some work to do, because now it's all loose and the front is catching a lot of wind. So then I start by tightening up the first peg that I put down, insert it into the ground. Then I go to the second one, same drill, tightening it. There we go, and the third one. And it is extremely important that you angle the pegs the right way. So, according to the angle of the tension, you cannot put the stake in straight down. You have to angle it at least a 45 degree so that it will grab a lot of jerk, and this will hold much better than entering it vertically or too much horizontally. Now it's looked kind of good. And in extreme weather, it's important to use almost all of your guy lines. And if we do this the right way, the tent will become very stable, and especially when you're going to sleep in it, it will create less noise. Tighten it, just tighten the slack. You don't have to over tighten the guy lines. Now we're going to do the same at the rear end and then the sides. And this one is also important to tighten up the fabric in the middle, and this one shouldn't be tightened too much. As the rest of the guy lines, just tighten so that you eliminate the slack of the line. Just like that. And when you only have a few pegs left, put the bag with the pegs in your pocket. Then we're going to attach the last 3 and then we're done. Tighten out the slack. And the last thing I'm going to do before I settle in is just go and check all of the guy lines, see that everything is perfectly tightened. And already you can see that the structure is much stiffer and better than it was at the beginning. So check the guy lines. Maybe tighten the straps, because when the tent becomes wet, the fabric will stretch. It's the first time you pitch it after keeping it stored inside. It would be a great idea to tighten all of the loops around the tent before you settle in. There we go, and this took about 10 minutes. Now it's a bomb-proof tent. We can just go in and enjoy some lunch. All right, guys, we're in the tent, and as you can see and probably hear, it is much quieter inside the tent. And in this video, I have with me a friend, Andreas. Hello. He was the camera guy who filmed everything, because it would be much harder for me to film everything by myself. So I'm glad you joined me.
Yeah, glad I could help as well.
Do you want some coffee and maybe some fresh bread?
Absolutely, that would be nice.
So even though right now it was forecasted this extreme weather, so therefore we decided to go pitching the tent just to train on pitching a tent in bad weather and showing you guys how I like to pitch the tent in bad weather. And after doing it a couple of times, you will feel quite confident doing it. So even though you hear all the flapping and everything, it's under control. So yeah, it doesn't matter how much wind there is. It's quite easy to pitch the tent in strong winds if you just follow the right steps. But now, some coffee. First cup is ready. This one goes to you.
Thank you very much.
Woo. Fresh coffee in a snowstorm on the top of a mountain. Couldn't be better.
Not bad, not bad.
I mixed the dough before I left home today so that it would ferment during the hike up the mountain. So this one has about 80% hydration. It's going to become a juicy and delicious bread. Then I take the spatula and try to even it out without deflating the dough, because we want to have a airy dough and an airy result, not a compact dough. Now we're going to bake it for, I think, around 10 minutes. So when it's starting to form bubbles on the top of the dough, it's ready. We're going to flip it and then bake it for another couple of minutes, and then it's done. Okay, let's try to flip it around.
Ooh.
Perfect. Right, I think it's ready. Check it out. Ooh. Perfectly cooked. I need a plate. Let's split it into two. Oh, and you have the crunch. There you go. This one's for you.
Thank you.
Now you can choose chocolate, honey, butter. Feel free, whatever you want.
Ooh, I think I go with, let's see, chocolate.
I didn't bring a knife, so you have to just break it open.
Part of the game.
Oh.
Whew. All right, then it's time to eat. Let's taste this.
Do you approve?
Really, really good. Baker Hansen on a mission. Perfect.
I agree.
Wow. Oh, this was really good.
Right, it's time to break camp. We're going to do it almost the same way as when we pitched the tent, but just the other way around. First up, I'm going to move the backpack to the front again and attach the tent to the backpack so that I know that the tent is safely secured. So here we have the sling. Attach it to the tent again. Now we remember that we put the pegs in the pocket of the jacket. And at this point, it is so important to remove the fabric at the end first so that you don't loosen any of the links. That can potentially give you some trouble. Now all of the pegs are free. The only connection point left is the one that connects the tent to my backpack. Now I'm going to take out the bag for the tent. At this point I'm going to start at the end and start collecting the tent and putting it inside the bag. And now, since I started at the end, we're also going to end up with the sling. Detach it from the backpack, leave it outside, and tighten the bag. So now it's ready for another pitch. Bad weather. That's it. That's how you pitch a tent for stormy conditions.